all they can in every way possible to suppress this very truth, but they cannot succeed, they cannot prevail. As you all know, I have been singing it like a song for very many months now. That Facebook is working with the enemy, but I'm very, very glad that Biafrans have now switched and are listening to us via IPOB Community Radio app. We must proceed this evening. I have dispensed with every nicety. I am going to start with the words of a man that I respect immensely. His name is Pa Ayo Adebanjo, one of the leaders of Oduduwa, a man of immense honor and integrity, a man I respect each and every blessed day of my life because he is consistent. I love people who are consistent, people who speak the truth always, regardless of the consequences. He's an elder statesman, one of the few who can genuinely lay claim to that very title. I am starting this evening with what Pa Ayo Adebanjo said. He granted an interview to a journalist, and the journalist asked him a very simple question. Please listen very carefully, because I said this evening I'm going to tell you the reason why I call black people animals. I'm going to explain to you the reason why I call Nigeria a zoo. I'm going to tell you the reason why I believe that anybody who refers to him or herself as a Nigerian is an animal. This evening you will know why I insult you, for those of you who feel insulted by the truth we preach on this very platform, because I have no apologies to tender. If you are foolish, you must recognize your foolishness and perhaps repent from it. But if you decide to go on wallowing in stupidity and ignorance, that's entirely up to you. It is my responsibility, therefore, to bring it to your attention, or should I say, to call your attention to it. What is your take on the issue of power rotation? Pa Ayo Adebanjo was asked, and he said, listen very carefully, please. Review the Constitution first, and other things will follow. Everybody believes if you don't follow the North, which is Fulani Janjaweed, you can't get to power because of their population, which I have said is fraudulent, which I have said is fraudulent, and they have not refuted me. The colonial people rigged the population census for them, and they have not denied it. Britain rigged the population census. And the Janjaweed in the North have not refuted it, not for one single day. Everybody knows it's truth. What Pa Ayo Adebanjo is trying to bring to our attention is to lay the foundation of the fraudulent existence of the zoo. What Pa Ayo Adebanjo is trying to say is that the zoo, Nigeria to some of you, is fraudulent. In other words, Nigeria as a country, as a contraption, is an exercise in futility and falsehood. Not me saying it. Now, let us take it one after the other. People believe from the South, before you can become a governor, you must go to the North and kneel down and bow down before them. They have all done it. We know Imo State very well. We know the man called, Izamu or whatever the idiot is called, from Edo State. We also know about Bajabia Mila, I think that is his name, the Speaker of the House, how they went to the North and knelt down before Fulani. They tied the sheet on their heads. Some of them looking like bandage, like people who were wounded in an accident, to pledge loyalty and allegiance to Fulani in order for them to ascend into political power. Now I ask you this very simple question. People who behave this way, do they deserve to be called human beings? That's what I'm asking. People that have this type of mindset, do they deserve to be called human beings? You have to go and kneel before people that were rigged into power by the British. Their numbers were inflated. They gave them political power to wield and to exercise as they see fit. With that, over the years, they have reduced you to nothing. All of you grammarians from the South, they have reduced you to nothing. All you do every blessed day is, how do I serve Fulani Janjaweedism in order for me and my family to survive? And we have said no to that. That is what Paya Adebanjo is saying. Adebanjo said, some people think that you have to follow the North for you to survive. I'm getting at somewhere. I want you to have all these things in mind before we go to the substance of what we have for you this evening. So you can now, perhaps, should I say, link what we are saying together so that it makes sense to you. We want to preach this gospel in such a way that even the most foolish black person in Africa will be able to understand it. What is Nigeria to some of you? According to Paya Adebanjo, who is over 90 years old, have seen everything. He is saying that you people from the south, by which we mean Oduduwa and Biafra, you think that you must follow the north for you to get into political power. The colonial people, Britain, he didn't want to say Britain, of course, who created the decision of Britain? Britain rigged census. Britain wanted Fulani to have power. Britain wanted to control a set of idiots. I'm going to prove it to you later on. The reason why I insult Nigerians, I want to prove to the whole world that it is only in the zoo, Nigeria, that people go to university and they come out more stupid than when they actually gained admission. Not me, Paya Adebanjo is telling you Britain rigged the election. Are you telling me that Ohaneze doesn't know the election was rigged and population census rigged in 1957, 1953, 1957? Is that what they're saying? Of course they know. Don't Pandef know? Pandef knows. I'm calling those that call themselves elite. Don't Afenifere know. Afenifere knows that the zoo, Nigeria, was fraudulent from the beginning. How about Middle Belt? Middle Belt Forum, do you know that the zoo was fraudulently put together from the beginning? The answer is yes. How about Arewa Consultative Forum? Arewa, do you know that the zoo was fraudulently put together from the beginning? The answer is yes. Now, why have you decided, all of you, why have you decided to continue in that fraud? Do you see why I call them animals? I need you to understand this. Only an animal will know that it's going to be slaughtered. And they are feeding him to fatten him up for slaughter. And he will keep eating. Until one day, he will be so fat that they will slaughter the animal during a festival or during a ceremony. If you know, all of them, they know. If you ask anybody, senior advocate or junior advocate, intermediate advocate of law, all these people, if you ask them, how do you best describe the foundation of Nigeria as Britain left it, or in 1960, they will tell you it was fraudulent. It was a fraud. Everybody knows that. Britain lied. Britain wanted people they can control. Britain cannot control Yoruba. Britain cannot control Igbo. They cannot. They cannot control Oduduwa. They cannot control Biafrans. They needed people they can control. After all, there was no war of colonization in the north. When I mean north, I mean Arewa, Sharia north, the Janjaweed territory. As soon as they saw the white man, they rolled over. There was no war. Benin Empire fought. To the last man, we fought. Ekumeku was formed eventually, and we fought every inch of the way. Yoruba fought to an extent. The Janjaweed never fought anybody. The white man came, they rolled over, they said, oh, come, anything you want. Britain said, oh, here comes loyal people. Anybody who lives or who has ever lived in the UK or ever worked there can bear me witness. In an office, if you come to an office, and you claim you are intelligent, and you're a black person, and you claim you're very smart, you're very intelligent, go and ask them, how many of them ever made it to senior managerial positions? You can never make it. But once you begin to behave like Frank Bruno, like an idiot, they see you as one of theirs. Like Chris Akabusi, once you begin to behave like an Uncle Tom, an idiot, they give you all the promotion in the world. Go and ask. That was exactly what they did in Fulani territory. And that is what Paya Adebanjo is alluding to. They say that politics is a game of numbers. Which number, he asked? Rigged number? Everybody knows in the zoo they rig elections. Tell me how we know it is common sense. Now, all of a sudden, America is saying we will impose sanctions on anybody who rigs elections in the zoo. Britain, out of shame, that woman, out of shame, followed suit. We will also deny visa to all election riggers. So you all know, both US and Britain, you know there's been rigging from day one. You know they rig elections. But every 4 years, fools will line up and ask you to go and vote. They know that the solution lies in you boycotting the electoral process. They understand it, but they will never let you because you are foolish. You vote, they rig. You vote, they rig. And you keep voting. Are you not an idiot? I am asking people, you keep voting and they keep rigging, you keep voting and they keep rigging, putting whoever they like. Hopu Zodema was the final insult. Final insult. From number 4 to number 1. Before your eyes, and some people will still have the temerity, the sense of, sense of, I wouldn't call it reasoning, sense of idiocy, to say go and vote. But they know the solution doesn't lie in voting. Why? Because Britain corrupted that process since 1957. They corrupted it till today. Do you see why I call Nigerians fools? This is why I call them animals. Because they can't reason, they cannot reason very well. Baya Adebanjo is very kind. Very, very kind. Everywhere in the world you go to, people who dwell in the desert are few and far between for very simple reason of nature. Because there is no food, there is no vegetation, you don't have rivers and all the rest of it. So people there, they don't procreate as much as people who live in forested regions. Go everywhere in the world. The closer you get to the sea, the closer you get into places where there are vegetation, the more the population. It is simple, common sense, the more the population. Desert, how many people have you seen in the desert before? In your whole lives, I'm asking you. They are the most sparsely populated region of the world. But Britain, in the zoo, they created Nigeria. Somehow they reversed it. Britain is now telling us who are educated, some of us that went to school, that only in Nigeria are people more in the desert than in rainforest. Where has it ever happened before? I said, where? Show me. That is how people who are educated, that is how they reason. Now you see why I call them fools. Why I call them Nigerians and why I call them animals, because they cannot reason. They went to school. All their years of PhD and mastering everything and speaking convoluted grammar that they don't even understand. I am asking them, where else in the world are people in the desert more than those in the rainforest? Show me where in the world. Show me where. Nowhere. And they claim they're intellectuals, that the elite. When I see a monkey on television, we the elite. We the elite. I laugh at them because they know nothing. And our job here is to expose their limited, should I say, intellect and the abundance of their stupidity. These are the things they need to understand. And I thank Baya Adebanjo for this. I thank him so much for this. And now let me go to the real crux of the matter. Why Baya Adebanjo said what he said. He said it from experience, and he said it from conviction. There is a video I want posted now on my page. I want this video to be posted. The person who composed it titled it, "Bullets of the Harmless Rabbit Presents a Slap to Christians." There is somebody contesting in a dome election. I want people to listen very carefully. Why I say that Nigerians are animals. Animals are better than them. They cannot reason. They are foolish. Write everything I'm saying down. Go back and reflect upon it. Now listen carefully. This man is a pastor. He is contesting elections in Edo. And I'm going to play something for you to try to comprehend the gravity of the idiocy and submissiveness to mediocrity. And that's what you buy because I need to try and calm down. Grandmothers are listening. Not that we cannot mess up English language if we want to, but there are people who are listening in the villages. So we try to tone it down so that everybody can follow what we are saying. Somebody, his name, he's a pastor. Pastor is a contesting for APC in Edo State. I am going back to what, because the thing with the zoo is that they never link back to anything. I don't know, when they hear something, they don't go back in history or reference it to what somebody said or what they have learned. They don't do that. But here we do. Now listen, and listen very carefully. You are going to be shocked. This man went to the north. Please post the video on my page. He went to the north. He wants to be the governor of Edo State. He knows that Fulani has the power to rig anybody into office. They have the power. They control the DSS. They control the army. They control the police. They control the court system. Everything is in their hands. Everybody knows that. And all of you, you know it. You claim you're educated, but you have done nothing. You claim you went to school. Your brains are empty. I'm asking all of you this very evening. All of you that claim they went to school. What I'm asking you is this. Are the judiciary, police, army, DSS not in the hands of the Fulani? Yes or no? If they are, do they have the power to get anybody into office, regardless of the consequences? The answer is no. After all, Hope Uzodinma came from number 4 to number 1. That even Supreme Court being presided over by Fulani people, they went outside INEC register to tabulate their own votes and gave Hope Uzodinma victory. All of you are just intellectuals. I'm an intellectual. We the elite. Umuokoko. Useless fools and cowards that cannot rise up to say that what they have done is wrong and they stand on it. You call them, you give them appointment, you appoint their children to positions and they just forget about it. They think that's how we are. How mistaken they are. Post that video, please. There is only one thing I want our people to understand from this video, because I'm going to play it now. And something to take away, to understand the depth of the mess people are in. Those that claim they are graduates, those that claim they went. I want the world to understand that the worst graduate on this earth is a graduate from a Nigerian university, from a zoo university. They are useless to the core. Useless. They pretend they know something, they know nothing. Their brains are empty. Now, he's a pastor. They are giving him tithe and offering, calling Jesus of Nazareth. Every blessed day, Jesus of Nazareth. Let us say the God he's calling now. He's in the north. About to be crowned. All of you know APC win Edo State. Who doesn't know that? Are you dumb? Don't you know that? They will give it to them. If not at the ballot. But of course, when they get to the court, they'll give it to them. Now listen. Listen very carefully, please. We want to listen. This is a pastor. Now listen. They are singing in the north. Listen. They are waiting for him to come. He wants to be governor. Not to Edo people. He has gone to the north to go and get power from the powers that be. Those that Britain handed power over to. The Fulani Caliphate. He's a pastor.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Are you listening? A Christian pastor. A pastor. Allahu Akbar. He wants to be governor. Allahu Akbar. People will say he's our excellency. Excellency of our state. Our excellency, executive governor. Do you see how foolish people are in Africa? Are you now appreciating Allahu Akbar? Allahu Akbar. He has knelt down. They are shouting Allahu Akbar. He has converted. He is now a Muslim. Allahu Akbar. They are now Allahu Akbar, yes.
Allahu Akbar. Salam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah.
They are now praying the prayer of Islam.
Maliki yawmiddin.
over his head, turbaned head. Are you listening? These are the truths Facebook doesn't want the world to hear. This is the truth the zoo doesn't want the world to hear. They will preach it here on this platform fearlessly. Islamic prayers for a Christian pastor. Are you listening very carefully? Zoo people, are you listening very carefully? Now, I want to say to the whole world that this is the extent of the stupidity of a black man. There is no principle, no consistency, none whatsoever. Everybody wants to feed their stomach. After stuffing your stomach full with loot, you now feed your children. That is why they have no honor, no integrity. Absolutely none. That is why I call them animals. Now you understand me? A pastor, he has converted to Islam because of election, because Fulani will rig him into power, because Britain will do nothing. Britain gave Fulani the power. They can do whatever they like. They can kill, they can anything. Fulani bandits can slaughter everybody. Britain can never say a word. Never. They've been compromised. Now, do you understand it? A pastor in a Edo State elections has now converted Allahu Akbar. They are now reciting the creed of Islam over his head. He wants to get into power. Do you see how they roll in Africa? Do you see why Africa is very poor? People have no principled stance on any issue. Nobody believes in anything and says, on this thing I stand, come hell or high water. That is why they endlessly spend their time speculating on what I am doing or what we are going to do. Do you understand it now? He's a pastor. That was what Ayo Adebanjo said. Because I went to school, I'm learned, I can put things together. When Ayo Adebanjo said that thing, I had to go somewhere to go and look for proof and evidence. And here is the proof and evidence. They have to go to the north. I didn't want to actually reference what Hope Uzodinma did. I didn't want to reference what Obiano did. I didn't want to reference what Bajabiamila, whatever his name is, did. I am going to what is happening now, not in the past. Edo elections coming up, the person representing APC, or should I say running under the banner of APC, has gone to the APC stalwarts in the north, Alamajiri, to go and get power from them. A pastor of the Holy Book, a pastor of New Testament. You are now hearing Allahu Akbar. Did you hear that? That is Africa for you. That is why I call Nigerians animals. This evening, every point I give you, you will agree with me that no group of people living under such conditions should be worthy to be called human beings. Not worthy at all. Now listen very carefully. That one is gone. He's contesting, isn't he? Now, his godfather is Oshomole. Adam's Oshomole. That's ugly orangutan. Let me tell you what Oshomole said about him. All of you have seen it. But because, you know, Africans, we have sawdust brain. Our brain do not retain information. It's like a sieve. You pour it in, it drains away. We don't retain information. I now want to ask you a question. And I want to ask Adam Oshomole this very simple question. In all my life in public service, I have never ever seen or heard a liar, greedy, corrupt, dishonest, and self-centered person like Ize Iyamu, the same idiot that abandoned Christianity to go to the north to go and look for Islamic, should I say, glory, or should I say glorious path to power. His godfather that brought him out, Oshomole, said that this man who now left Christianity to go and join Islam because he wants to win election in Edo State, is that he has never in his life seen somebody or heard of a liar, greedy, corrupt, dishonest, and self-centered person like Ize. He's a fraudster, masquerading himself as a pastor. These are the words of Oshomole. That this man carrying the Bible, quoting Paul, quoting John, quoting St. Luke, the man is a fraud, as most of them are with the Bible. They are fraudsters, they are criminals, they are preaching the gospel of Christ because of money and nothing else. 99.9% of them. Listen, according to the person that brought him out, his godfather said that he is a self-centered person, he is a fraudster, using the Bible to deceive the gullible. He has gone to the north to go and receive the blessing of Islam because he wants to win. He wants to be rigged into power. Now the question is, why is Oshomole then supporting him? Why is it that somebody who is in Lagos State, Tinubu, is worried about Obaseki and now asking you to vote for Ize Iyamu? Because he himself is a Muslim. So if they get a Muslim governor in Edo State, all good for them. Whereas some of you are looking at Nigeria as a project or maybe as a country, they see it as a religious enclave. And as I have said to some of you before, the leader of Islam in the zoo is the Sultan. The loyalty of Tinubu is not to Afenifere, not to the Oni of Ife, not to the Alafin of Oyo. His loyalty is to the Sultan. So if you don't know, let me tell you now. Because for them, religion takes precedence over every aspect of life. That is why they want a Muslim in Edo State government house. Do you understand it? And I'm going to tie all of these things up. If you're following and taking your notes, I am going to tie all of these things up later on so you can see the game plan of the Janjaweed and those they're using to perfect their mission of conquest of the South. Oshomole, his godfather, called him a fraudster and a criminal who calls himself a pastor. Now this pastor has now gone and is now a full-fledged Muslim. He wants to get into political office. And I'm asking people, all of you that studied political science or that read civics or whatever it is this how election is supposed to be held and conducted? It's not based on the strength of your manifesto and your power of, should I say, conviction, oratory, and all the rest of it, your skills and your experience in life. Now, you don't need to possess anything at all. All you need to do is to go to Fulani and say, I will bring in Ruga. I will make waterways bill. Fulani can do whatever they like. They can kill. None of them will be arrested and you will be made governor of your state. Can you now see it? Do you now understand why I call Nigerians animals? Do you see the way they reason? Or lack of it? Do you see how foolish they are? None of them can remember what Oshomole said. If you cannot remember what Oshomole, what is the essence of you going to school? What is all this nonsense that you educated? Where is it coming from? You know that Britain